Okay, so your micro AI automation playbook. For this specific session, I wanted to share with everyone here my very simple framework on how to identify opportunities and gaps in the business so you can prioritize your AI projects effectively. Next slide, please. So, I'm presenting three simple steps in order to start thinking about meaningful AI transformation. We're seeing a lot of tools out there. We're seeing a lot of potential on perhaps fine tuning our own models, but the risk is it could deprecate and we're going to waste a lot of money. And we're seeing a lot of, again, like ideas out there that can be overwhelming to choose. So I'm sharing a very simple framework on how to make our lives simpler so that we can prioritize these opportunities and gaps effectively. The first step is mapping out your process. This means with an understanding of what your business goals are, you align and map out what processes are and activities are being put in place to achieve that objective. Once you've mapped that, then you start understanding the data that you process within these steps and within these activities. Once you've identified and understood your data and the type of data you're processing, then you can start identifying the quick wins. And I'm going to show you how to do that with some examples. Next slide, please. So step one, evaluate your current tech stack and audit your resources. And visualizing that on the next slide, having a very clear understanding of what your business goals are, you start identifying what activities you should activate in your business to help you achieve that goal. Once you've identified these activities, you then map out who's responsible to activate these activities. And once you've done that, you then start mapping out your processes. Like how are you going what will the person responsible have to do in order to activate those activities to achieve those goals? And then once you've mapped out your processes, you then start defining, okay, these are the assets that I need, and these are the channels that I have to switch on. As an example on the next slide, for example, my goal is to get 1,000 active users, to convert 1,000 users. Now I know that the activities that I have to do to get to that very clear business goal is to do content marketing, to improve my product and develop my product, and to nurture a community. So I know that these three things are the three things that I have to do to achieve my goal. Now, once I've identified those activities, I'm going to start mapping out who's responsible. Is it me? Is it my co-founder? Is it my team? And then once I've done that, the process is, it starts with, for example, with content marketing, it starts with an ideation and then it executes and then someone executes it. And then digging deep into that example on the next slide, for example, within that process of from ideation to execution on my content marketing, these are the assets and the channels that I have to acquire, to develop, and to activate. So I need content ideas for my social media calendar. I need different types of content and images for websites, for Twitter, for my social media. And I need scripts and description for my videos, for example. And then and other examples are data and optimization to help me with product development, and then capturing feedback and building a growth loop to allow me to nurture a community. And then on the next slide, I think it's step two, which is understanding the data within these processes and within these channels that you will be activating. So as an example on the next slide, for example, with again, with the goal of 1,000 users, mapping out the processes and mapping out the types of assets that I need, I can now identify the types of data that sit within these assets or channels. So for example, for content, it's non-confidential data, but for sentiment and feedback that I collect from my customers, they actually have personal identifiable information. So that's a little bit of data that I have to be mindful of in terms of processing these through AI. And then I have some confidential data as well, like product updates. I might not want to share it with my competition. I might not want to broadcast it because of my competition. And I might have like responses from my community that is sensitive, like maybe their grievances or like sensitive information from my vulnerable customers that I might not want to share. So having a really clear understanding of what type of data sits in the channels and the assets that you have to activate to help you achieve your goal is critical in being able to prioritize what you can automate, what you can use AI for, and so on and so forth. And the next step is identify quick wins. So because now you know, okay, these are in these areas, I don't process any PII data. I don't process any sensitive data. I'm definitely going to explore some AI solutions on this. But then for the areas that have process PII data and sensitive data, I might want to see how I can anonymize this data, tokenize the data, or restructure the data and redact data so that I can then process these through language models and AI systems. On the next slide. Yeah, this should be colored, but basically having a clear understanding of the data mapped out to the channels and the assets will allow you to have a really simple plan and allow you to prioritize which gaps and opportunities you're going to want to take first.
Yeah.
And the next slide, please. So move your metrics faster and cheaper with AI. There's no more excuse. You can definitely scale your business, be more productive without the overhead cost by using AI. And that is it. You can book your initial discovery call with me. And yeah, I hope to meet you soon.